Ladies and gentlemen, my name is PythonGB and welcome back to another Terraria weapon guide. Today, my friends, we are going to be doing the weapons of the Pumpkin Moon. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, a little bit of trivia for you guys. The Pumpkin Moon was introduced in the 1.2.1 update back in 2013 as a Halloween update. And as you can see, we have 6 things which we are going to be going ahead and showcasing to you guys. We've got the Raven Staff, we have ourselves the Candy Corn Rifle, we have the Batscepter, the Jack-o'-lantern Launcher, we have the Horsemen Blade, and of course the Stake Launcher. And funnily enough, 5 of them, 5 out of 6 of those weapons are actually dropped from the same dude. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it, shall we? Alrighty guys, so let's kick things off, shall we? We have ourselves the Raven Staff right here. The Raven Staff is a summoning weapon which is dropped by the Pumpkin boss. It has a base damage value of 37, and funny enough, I can't even test this weapon because it doesn't work against practice dummies. Well, in fact, no summoner weapons work against these practice dummies. But anyway, I digress. It has a base mana cost of 10, and the special characteristics of this is the fact that if I go ahead and use it, the little raven minion is actually flying at all times, and as a result, it makes hitting enemies just that little bit easier. So yeah, there we go, my friends, the Raven Staff. I will go ahead and give it a good old go a little bit later in today's video. I'll test it against the boss, of course, so you guys can actually see it in action. But yeah, there you go, guys, the Raven Staff. Alright guys, so moving on, we have ourselves the Candy Corn Rifle next, which is in fact a ranged gun dropped by, once again, the Pumpkin boss. It has a base damage value of 44, and it has a pretty damn fast speed if we go ahead and give it a go. As you can see, the special characteristics of this weapon are not only can the bullets pierce enemies, but also, if we just go ahead and do a little bit of this, you can see that the projectiles bounce off the floor. And I've just noticed there's a gold worm down there. I don't have anything to take him down with, so, or capture him with, more to the point. But, so yeah, there we go. That's his fate done. But yeah, as you can see, the damage per second value is well into the 4 digits, my friends. And one of the other special characteristics of this weapon is the fact that it actually has a higher crit chance by default. Now, normally, the normal default crit chance value is 4% across most weapons. But this one is, in fact, 10%. So you get a higher crit chance by default. And as a result, you get more crits out of it. So yeah, pretty damn awesome rifle, if I say so myself, my friends. Alrighty guys, so our third weapon here is the Batscepter. Once again, it is dropped by the Pumpkin boss. It is a mage weapon with only a base mana cost of 3. It only costs 3 mana to use this weapon, as you can see right here. But yeah, the base damage value of this weapon is in fact 45. Obviously, you know, because I've obtained these legit, they may have prefixes or you know, what they call modifiers on them. So yeah, just be advised of that. I do like to get things legit, which is why some of these might have modifiers on them. So yeah, but yeah, the base damage value of the Batscepter is 45, and as you can see, the special characteristic of this weapon is the fact it shoots out a bunch of bats at your enemies. And basically what happens is, after a while, obviously if you're shooting at actual enemies, the projectiles will in fact start homing in on said enemies and doing a bunch of damage to them that way. And because of its amazingly low amount of mana cost, you can actually go ahead and use this for a pretty damn long time, especially if you have yourself a proper mage loadout. So yeah guys, pretty damn good weapon. So then, the Jack-o'-lantern Launcher. We're moving on to this bad boy. This thing, once again, is dropped by the Pumpkin boss. It has a base damage of 65, but what you need to bear in mind is the fact that the projectiles are explosive, and as you can see, do 30 range damage. So combined, it's going to be 65 plus 30, which is 95 damage you're going to be dealing more often than not. And once again, it does have a higher crit chance by default, which if you minus off the modifier there would bring it down to 10%. So it's on par with the Candy Corn Rifle with a 10% crit chance. And the speed is pretty average, so let's give this bad boy a go. As you can see, it does do splash damage, and more often than not, the crit damages will wind up in the 200s, which is very, very nice. As you can see, the damage per second counter, more often than not, is in the 4 digits if there is crits, obviously. But as you can see, it's around 900. But yeah, it's very capable of getting up to the 4 digits. So yeah, it is very good. And one of the other special characteristics of this weapon, the Jack-o'-lantern Launcher, is the fact it doesn't do damage to you. It is an explosive weapon, but it doesn't do damage to you, which makes it especially effective if you have a bunch of mobs nearby and you need to, you know, have a bit of crowd control going on. So yeah, the Jack-o'-lantern Launcher, very effective against a crowd of mobs. Alrighty guys, so we're now looking at our penultimate weapon for today's video. We have ourselves the Horsemen Blade, which despite its name is actually dropped by the Pumpkin boss. It has a base damage value, get this, of 75, and it is auto swing. The speed is pretty average. It's not that fast, it's not very slow, it's just very average. And the special characteristic of this weapon is the fact that when you are striking an actual enemy, pumpkin projectiles will actually start spawning around the place and they will home in on the enemy. So you actually have two different types of damage going on at the same time. So obviously we'll give this weapon a good old shot against the boss a little bit later in the video. But yeah, it's a pretty damn good weapon in my opinion. So yeah, let's carry on and get into the final weapon. Alright guys, so we're moving on to the final weapon here, which is the stake launcher. It is a ranged repeater-like weapon. It isn't confirmed to be a repeater weapon, but it's definitely a repeater-like weapon. It is dropped by the Morningwood boss, which makes it the only weapon drop to not come from the pumpkin boss. It has a base damage value of 75, it has a fast speed, and boy oh boy does this weapon have some cool characteristics. First of all, the stake projectiles travel very fast, and if we give it a good old shot, it pierces through multiple enemies. If we go ahead and keep shooting it, as you can see, the damage per second value well into the 4 digits, maybe even into the 2000s at some points. And I don't even think these dummies do it justice, to be honest. I think we need to go ahead and give this weapon a shot against the Destroyer to really, you know, get the full feel for it. But it also has a higher default crit chance, my friends. Once again, if we take off the modifier, it has a default crit chance of 14%, which is even more so than these two's default crit chance, which is 10%. So yeah, this is a very, very good weapon. Again, it's good against crowds, and it's good against multiple sectioned mobs like worms and such. So yeah, that is all the weapons looked at, my friends. So without further ado, let's give them all a good shot against the boss. Alrighty guys, so I've got a bit of a bonus feature in that there is actually one more feature of the stake launcher, in that it will do a crazy amount of damage against vampires, because it is a folklore reference to the fact that the only way to properly kill a vampire is by driving a wooden stake through its heart. So let's go ahead and find ourselves a vampire and give that a test. Alrighty, there's a vampire, and there he goes. Alrighty guys, so the time has come to give these weapons each a whirl against the Eye of Cthulhu boss. So we're going to be starting off with the Raven Staff. Let's go ahead and get two of these guys going because I've got the Bewitched status on me. So yeah, here we go. Let's see how they do against the Eye of Cthulhu. Go on, Mr. Ravens, do your job. Wait, where's he at? He's coming from the right-hand side. Alright, buddy, you go do your thing. Do what you do best. Take down the Eye of Cthulhu. Alrighty guys, and there we go. The Eye of Cthulhu taken down with the Ravens. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually kind of disappointed with these Ravens. I honestly expected them to fly around and attack the Eye of Cthulhu a bit quicker than they did, but they're a little bit slow for my liking. So honestly, I gotta say the Raven Staff for me personally is a little bit of a disappointing weapon. So without further ado, let's move on to the next weapon. Let's get rid of the Ravens and the Bewitched status, and let's take the Eye of Cthulhu down with a candy corn rifle. Let's once again get ourselves the map up so we know where he's coming from. And here we go. Let's take him down like a true professional. As you can see, doing a stupid amount of damage. Let's try and bounce these things off and see how much damage it can do by doing that. There we go. Fantastic. So that was absolutely easy as all hell. So I'll tell you what, let's move straight on to the third weapon, which is the Batscepter. Let's see how that does. It's coming from underneath this time, my friends. So here we go. All right, go, 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 go. All the damage, please. All the damage. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I took him down quicker with the Batscepter than I did with the candy corn rifle. That's pretty damn awesome. But of course, you know, that is to be expected. We're moving up the spectrum of damage. So without further ado, onto the Jack-o'-lantern launcher. Let's do it, man. Here we go. Superior Jack-o'-lantern launcher. Obviously, it deals explosive damage towards enemies, and obviously doesn't hurt me in the process. So there we go. As you can see, it does 2 loads of damage on the Eye of Cthulhu every time I hit him. So boom, there you go, 2 times damage, 2 times damage, 2 times damage. And you know, once again, you gotta really remember the fact that the crit damages, as you saw there, well into the 200s. So you can take down a pretty damn nice amount of mobs in a very short amount of time. So moving on to the Horseman's Blade. Obviously, this time I'll be able to show you the special characteristic with the homing pumpkin spawns. So, where is he? Alright, I'm only going to hit him once, and then you'll be able to see what happens. So, there we go. Hit him once, and there's the homing pumpkin. And they even go underground. They go through walls, which is pretty awesome. So, let's go and hit him a few times and see what happens. As you can see, doing loads of damage to him, my friends. Loads and loads of damage indeed. Okay, so once again, just going to hit him a few times, and as you can see, the homing pumpkins actually going ahead and destroying him is brilliant. Okay, so moving on to the final weapon here, which is, of course, the stake launcher. Let's see how it does. And yeah, I may have a little bit of a bonus feature for you guys after this one. So, let's get on with this. Alright, so again, doing a nice amount of damage. Obviously, the projectiles shoot a lot quicker than normal bullets do. And again, the crit chance is much higher by default. Than it is, you know, for other weapons. So yeah, very, very awesome. We've got ourselves a trophy out of that too. Kinda cool. But anyways, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for those fights. So yeah, before we end off, I got a little thing to show you guys. So yeah, back in a mo. Alrighty guys, so here we go. I haven't exactly got the best Ranger loadout. I mean, I've got beetle armor and a bunch of generic accessories which have been reforged to mostly have damage. But we're going to give this thing a go anyway. We've got the Destroyer and of course the Stake Launcher, which now does 112 damage. So yeah, here we go, my friends. Let's buff up. Let's get some of these beautiful things going. And without further ado, here we go. Wow. Okay, so we're not totally doing a whole bunch of damage or anything. He's down to 60k already. The DPS scanner is going absolute haywire. 3,000, almost 4,000 damage per second. Make that 4,000 damage per second. Holy poop. Well, yeah, I think that pretty much concludes today's video, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video or you found it useful, be sure to drop a like rating. And, of course, you guys can subscribe for more Terraria content to come. But that will wrap it up for today's video, my friends. There you go. Proof that the Stake Launcher is just absolutely badass. Thank you so much for watching, my friends. Your support, as always, has been much appreciated. And I'll see you guys in the next video.